from Barcelona with love. People have known Christopher Columbus for his discovery of Americas, but not many people know what all he brought to Spain. I am not Columbus, but memories of my visit to Isade, Barcelona under Euro-India exchange program during 1991-92 remind me even today, 27 years later, what one can gain from a single trip abroad. Sister Conchita. The first thing that occurs to me whenever I remember Barcelona is Sister Conchita. She was my adopted elder sister in Barcelona. Never seen a sister who could talk to me with that authority, by affection. She was an elderly lady, Principal Secretary to Director General, who could talk fluently in different European languages while responding to calls to DG from different countries. She could get back within 12 hours flat, a suitcase of a faculty friend who had lost it in Girona railway station while transiting from French side to Spanish side while coming to meet me from Rotterdam. While talking to her in mid-December 1991, the issue of resident permit from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Spain was not issuing visa for more than 3 months straight those days. I told her that I have to get it fast as I have to go to UK shortly. She looked at me and asked, "Are you going like this?" Seeing me baffled, she pointed towards my pumped shoes and said, "I won't let you go this way. We'll go to shop after the office and buy a pair of proper boots for you. You will freeze, my dear." This touching gesture reassured me I have at least a sister in Barcelona to take care of me. One evening, when my family joined me from India, Sister Conchita visited us. While my wife was preparing dinner, Sister asked me, "What does she do?" I humbly answered, my wife was only housewife. She could not understand. Asked again. She said, "I'm also housewife, but what does she do?" I had to narrate her whole day's routine. Explaining, I said, "She wakes up in morning around 5:30. After getting fresh, she gets my second daughter ready and then send both the daughters to school around 7:30 a.m. Then she prepares breakfast for me. After I leave around 8:30 a.m., she gets breakfast ready for my father. Around 9:30, she takes breakfast. Then she starts preparing lunch. Around 1:30 p.m. I come and take lunch with father. The babies return around 2:30 p.m. After feeding lunch to younger one, she takes lunch. By this time it is around 3:45 p.m. Then maidservant comes for cleaning utensils, after which my wife prepares evening tea for all of us. By 6:30 p.m. she starts preparing dinner for us. By 9:30 p.m. I take dinner with father, after which she takes dinner. By the time she is through with all this, it is 11 p.m. I summed up. "What? Whole day cooking?" Sister was taken aback with surprise. "Professor, you are cruel to your wife. Why can't you buy a deep freezer for her in which she can keep the food prepared in the morning only and warm it in the evening instead of cooking all day?" "I agree," I said, "but there is a problem. The deep freezer requires electricity," I confessed. "You mean you don't have electricity?" she confused. "We have, but we don't know when we will have it," I replied. It was too difficult for a lady in Barcelona, where in the whole 9 months stay I had no power off situation, to understand what electricity meant in 1990s in then a backward state like UP. CEMS. The second thing I remember, though a bit bitterly, is CEMS. The Director General of SRD Barcelona was chairman of Community of European Management School, now known as Global Alliance for Management Education, which has 31 academic members and admits only one management institute as member from any country. Before returning to India in 1992, I met him to explore ideas of collaboration. He suggested that we become guest member for 2 years, as there is no management institute in India who is a member. The association may confer full membership after watching us for 2 years. Unfortunately, the director of my institute and others did not show any interest, and we lost the opportunity. Only in the year 2012-13, IIM Calcutta got membership under the directorship of my friend Professor Shekhar Chaudhary. I am happy that at least some Indian management institution got into network of European management institutes and industry. Collaborative works. When I visited SRD Barcelona, I thought of working on a case writing covering mergers and acquisition issues, but was soon disappointed after meeting the dean when he said, "We are trying to develop this area, but not much progress has been made." But I was able to develop jointly a 3-part case study based upon memoirs of a doctor who was a faculty at SRD. I was also able to develop a multi-country research proposal on perception of European executives about India as a business partner with another eminent professor, Emil. The study was completed on my return to India. A third research project, replicating a study on lines of In Search of Excellence, was designed with Professor Viedma and Villahur, which unfortunately could not be started after the questionnaire was designed due to paucity of time. The fourth project was preparing a proposal for establishment of Euro-India Management Center in collaboration with a marketing professor, Montagna. It intrigues me, even today, that while in short span of 9 months, after teaching 4 courses in first term at IMX, I was working on 4 projects, striking partnership with 4 teams of professors in 4 different areas in a country where I did not know anyone. But I could not develop a single joint project in 5 years of my stay at IMX. Was something wrong with me, or there were other socio-cultural factors inhibiting collaborative work? 4. Casio, kettle and recorder. Barcelona was a place where I was almost a stranger. In those days, English was not very common there. I had gone to such a place because I was so sick at the end of my stint as PGP chairman that I could start sinking any moment. I had lost confidence and I had stopped traveling. One day I felt there is no point in living like this. Just around 45 years old, I had young school-going children and was worried about what will happen if someday I really died. So when director asked me to go under the Euro-India exchange program in 1991, I chose a place where I did not know anyone, neither the language, but that turned out to be a turning point in life. A. The Casio. How to spend time outside working hours of the institute, in the evening and weekends. One day, while walking to the Mar, that is sea, I saw a Casio on a shop, the keys of which looked similar to harmonium. I bought that and started playing as there was no one to object. In 6 months, I was able to play few songs and could understand what rag meant, why they are typical styles of Naushad, C. Ramachandra, Shankar Jayakishan, Vasant Desai, etc. Alas, it was all stopped when I returned to India back. B. The kettle. The other companion was an electric kettle. I was addicted to tea, but buying electric kettle I could not visualize at Lucknow in India those days because electric kettle also needed electricity and one could not afford to assume its uninterrupted supply. This helped me in preparing tea easily, as tea bags, milk powder, and sugar cubes were easily available in departmental stores. The kettle was, in a way, instrumental in developing Pak Tauli case series based upon memoirs of Dr. Manuel Pero. The librarian allowed me to borrow English Catalan dictionary for overnight use. Morris, the computer center head, gave me a laptop, which was a new thing for me in 1991. Administrative officer helped me in getting a cable TV on rent. Every night I would finish dinner, prepare a thermos full of tea, switch on TV, which used to run up to 2 to 3 a.m., and sit on the bed. Pick one word from the memoir and see its meaning in dictionary, which may give 2 to 7 meanings in English. Pick next word and so on. Then look at the whole sentence and try to guess what it could mean in English. After 15 days, I was able to translate a page and sent it to Dr. Manuel Pero to check whether I have guessed correctly. He supported a lot by checking and correcting. After I finished about 5 pages, some words became familiar and the translation picked up speed. After a month, it started appearing to me what was happening in the case, perhaps I have seen in life. Gradually, it occurred that something similar had happened in HEIL and BHL merger in 1972-74 in India, which I had witnessed. My God, merger of 2 public sector engineering companies in India, and here merger of 4 sick hospitals, thousands of kilometers away in Spain, having similar issues involved. I was astonished. With this, in the next 1.5 months or so, a 3-part case series was drafted. Dr. Pero took me to the hospital in Sabadell and introduced me to people there. In next 15 days, the case was finalized, cleared, and after a month it was sent to EFMD along with the teaching note for closing seminar of ESEP. I wonder whether without kettle this would have happened. C. The recorder. While walking on the roads, I was attracted by a small voice-activated pocket recorder of Sanyo. I thought of recording songs on Casio played by me, but it did something entirely different. Back to India, I got a new secretarial assistant. While training her for DBase and mail merge, I landed up sending 75 letters to some companies which were engaged in Indian business ventures abroad seeking permission for case writing. 12 of them responded positively. 4 of them I was able to speak. I met top executives of 2 of them to get going, but right then my daughter fell sick and I had to suspend travel. An elder colleague in finance area, Professor Varshneya, who was coming from Delhi, agreed to interview and record discussion on the recorder with executives and collect other information. We got it transcribed and prepared a draft. I rearranged the information and prepared a teaching note. Professor Varshneya was pleasantly surprised that he had been instrumental in jointly developing 2 important case studies, Suman Industries and Growth Pharmaceuticals, on Indian business ventures abroad, one withdrawing and the other expanding its international operations as a result of opening of India, an economy in 1991. These were the first 2 case studies on the topic at IMX. What is common among the 3 friends, Casio, Kettle and Recorder, who helped me in Barcelona? They are still alive and in a proud position in operation. and I am using them post-retirement 25 years later, something that was a hallmark of Indian products in pre-liberalized era, long life, consumer durable products. In India, in those days, there was a concept of durability. Dada le, pota barse. The grandson can comfortably use what one's grandfather bought. We don't have any Indian item of that kind now, thanks to dynamic obsolescence concept introduced in last 25 years. Offsprings of Partoli case. Case writing gives several benefits, but what Partoli case gave was truly amazing. Almost everything that a faculty member wants to get. A. An international case study. B. Teaching note turning into a research paper. C. Attending first Wakra International Conference to present the case study. D. Publishing a book. E. Launching a PGP course. F. Launching an MDP. G. Launching a professional body, a strategic management forum, which fulfilled the dreams of A. Organizing conferences on a larger scale, and B. Helping development of over 600 faculty members of management school in a strategic management area in India. 6. The course material. While in ISADE, I had to frequently contact EFMD. I learned how to reduce cost of faxing by writing 4 different letters, reduce them to 63%, print it on an A4 size paper, and fax a single page. It occurred to me that the cost, time, and manpower requirements of course material development can also be dramatically reduced if we make a master on A3 size by putting 4 A4 size sheets reduced to 63% and print it back to back. This will also reduce the size of the bulky A4 size course material to lightweight, especially if the course material was developed by the faculty members themselves. I developed a sample 400 pages PGP course material of merger and acquisition course into handy A4 by 2 size book. The efforts could not take off due to refusal of many faculty members to follow the practice. The dream, however, materialized 27 years later, 7 years after my retirement, when I designed and published 15 books on standard A5 size 6 inches by 9 inches in paperback and ebook format. If we had done it in 92-93, the academic resource park envisaged in Perspective Plan of IMX 1992-93 could have produced all the necessary course material for management education in the country at much less cost. 7. Key mass. The 2 words key mass, which means what else, still reverberate in my ears. The words were pronounced, that too with a smile, whenever the people finished the work you gave them. Even if at the time of closing hours of office. The smile was so infectious that you almost bowed to them with respect. In Barcelona, I felt if there was to be a single measure index of happiness for the country, it could be number of times a person smiled in a day genuinely. I was so enamored by this gesture that I changed my signature for family members and friends to now famous emoji, keep smiling. I also tried to copy this gesture, but even I knew it was fake, not genuine one, as I saw on the faces there. 8. India does not occur to us. I happened to visit with a faculty friend from another sister institution in India who was assigned to SDA Bukoni the Commercial Office of Technology Transfer in the government of Catalonia and asked which technology you transfer to India. He expressed regret. India does not occur to us. Taken aback, I asked, then where do you transfer technology? To this his reply was UK, France, Germany, etc. I was surprised, but later, while identifying leading firms of Spain to administer a questionnaire for a research study, I found there were a large number of small companies which were product leaders in fourth digit of index numbers. By that time, the second issue of Duns Europa had been published, which gave names, addresses, and size of companies in Europe. I was stunned to find small companies that were world leaders in their small domain. Since they were not big enough to advertise in international business journals, which were in English, India did not know many of them and imported technology from the larger companies whom such small companies had sold technology. If we knew their language, India could have imported technology as equal footing partner at much less price. If India did not occur to them, they too did not occur to us. This I realized that we could be great partners in administration of research. A single questionnaire translation cost me Euro 150, which was almost Rupees 6,000, while we could get a 14-page questionnaire translated in French, German, and Spanish in India in around Rupees 2,000 those days. Same was the case of secretarial assistant. While charges per day there was no less Euro 100 per questionnaire, here my secretary typed it without asking for anything extra and prepared 2,000 covers in 4 languages. Thus a study, Perception of European Executives about India as a Business Partner, for which we were sanctioned Euro 1,000, we could finish it in just Rupees 10,000. We could be great research partners, but we missed all such opportunities. By the time I returned to India, I had many ideas to develop for forging symbiotic relationship with Europe. I was convinced that India could get a lot from Europe and give a lot to it without sacrificing any national interest or creating adverse balance of payment by emerging as a global player as advised by my research partner, Emil. 9. The Blast. While moving on the petrol bus, one day I heard a big sound of blast. I was told some Muslim person from Morocco had done that. The tussle between England and Ireland was visible to note by anyone. I wondered if Christian and Muslim cannot live as good neighbors. If Catholic and Protestant religions divide the countries, how vulnerable is India with all kinds of religions, caste, languages, and regional cultures, each one as powerful as the other to divide the country? I shuddered. Are we sitting on a volcano? As I returned to India, within 6 months, Babri Masjid was demolished and religious fanaticism started emerging. Just over a year back, the reservation issue had created crisis in the country, paralyzing it for 3 months and ending with fall of central government. What an uphill task India faces to integrate emotionally to capitalize on population for economic development. Is it not a major challenge which is going to decide the future of country, I thought. Is it not a great achievement for a nascent democracy to keep united against all odds? 10. Realizing what we have in India. A. Water. The first experience was water. We gulp water in liters per day in India. Whenever I went for dining in the opening seminar in Germany, I was respectfully asked, "What would you like to have, sir? Whiskey, wine, or coffee?" When I asked for water, they gave a peg of water. The cost of a 250cc bottle of water was $2. Luckily, we were guests of EU and boarding lodging were free. But for extra items like water, we had to pay from our pockets, which we could not. And finally, some of us drank tap water. I wondered if water was priced in India, what would be our condition? B. Bread. The same price differential were there in other items. In the comparison of prices of 9 products in 1991, it was observed the prices in Barcelona varied from 3.6 times bottle of 500 milliliter milk to 12 times loaf of bread and 2-bedroom house. It occurred to me that GDP calculations based upon sale value determined by price presents a highly distorted picture of Indian economy compared to other countries when measured in terms of US dollar for the purpose of convenience. A different measure was required for getting correct picture, something that emerged later in terms of purchasing power parity-based comparisons. C. Language lessons. Since I did not know Spanish or local language, Isade sent me to attend classes for Spanish. There were 15 other non-Spaniards of around 20 years of age from different countries. After explaining colors, the instructor wanted to test the learning and asked each one, "What is color of your car?" Youngsters replied accordingly, but me, a professor from IMX in India, replied, "I don't have car." In the next round, after explaining numbers, the instructor asked again, "How many cars you have?" My answer was same, "I don't have car." Now the instructor was baffled even more. "How can you walk to your office? How far it is?" I said, "It is behind my house." It was too difficult for her to appreciate our massive 200 acres campus with residential facilities and guest houses. But I realized it can be an attractive point for inviting visitors at low cost, offering our own boarding and lodging facilities and paying only journey expenses and nominal honorarium, something that I could use later at IMP for inviting faculty from abroad. D. Luna Ride. Once my research partner invited me for dinner. He was a professor and chairman MDP, quite a high status in the institute. We were to meet in the parking area at 5 p.m. I went there on dot, but could not locate his car. After a while, I heard him yelling, only to find he was standing with a small moped. We used to call it Luna in India, which did not have even footrest. I was shocked as I expected him to have a decent car because even the typists and plumbers used to ride cars. He started and moved into lanes. Whenever he found traffic, he lifted his Luna and walked on pavement. We came to cross the main 6-lane road, which was jammed for long distance. But he lifted his Luna and we crossed the road comfortably. We reached his palatial house and had tea before we started getting ready for dining out at around 8:30 p.m. We came down and he opened his garage and I saw an impressive Mercedes. I realized he could not go to office in his beautiful car due to traffic jams and used car only outside office hours or weekends or for excursion. I wondered what will be condition in India, which had more than 20 times population of Spain, an area which was just 6 times that country. Are not we going to face similar crisis due to development? I wondered. if we did not have alternate design and focus